Okay, we're going to have a little look at the backhand serve now in a little bit more detail. I know some of you have played around with that in the little challenge. We're going to have a look at some of the variations that we can use with the backhand serve for a couple of different spins. So, grip is fairly similar. Yeah, we're not going to change an awful lot. Some of you might prefer just to use your normal playing grip. I tend to turn mine a little bit into a bit more of a backhand grip, which is where it's a little bit easier to play backhands, and then the forehand ends up being a little bit compromised. That's the grip that I use just for the serve. So once I've done the serve, I'd then be going back into my normal playing grip. But there's not an awful lot to change. Once I've done the serve, I'm not having to change grips massively. So, small change with the grip. For me, I tend to use this serve a little bit more from this middle part, maybe just creeping into the forehand side. And I do that as it's a little bit easier for me to expose this short forehand in right-handed players. So I'm more comfortable doing here, it doesn't matter too much. If you're doing it from really far over here, obviously we just need to be mindful of the table and the angles and things. Not impossible, I'm sure many of you are quicker than I am, but I tend to do it a little bit more from the middle of the table. So, technique, I tend to start high, striking somewhere near the bottom, depending on the spin that I'm going for, and then I tend to finish off. It's almost like a semicircle. Yeah? So if I'm just thinking about the technique, then I'm just thinking about going down and up. So starting high, contacting down. I'm just trying to get that ball moving from right to left. Okay? So that's the basic technique that I'm trying to adopt. This part might need a little bit of thought for some of you do it differently. Some people have their bat above the arm, yeah, and some have it underneath the arm. Mine's much more natural underneath the arm. Again, there's no real right or wrong there, just what's most comfortable. Okay, how do I get backspin on this technique then? What do I need to focus on here?
Button, we've just been doing it.
Okay, so I could go flat, similar to what we were doing here. Yeah, could go a little bit flatter.
Contact and point on the bat.
Yeah, so I want that kind of leading edge here, where my wrist is just going to come through at the end. Yeah, that's the part that I'm going to be trying to aim for. Yeah. So from this position here, I will be contacting the ball on this downward part. Yeah, right at the end of the technique here. That's where I'm trying to make contact. So I'm not finishing the technique off there, I'm just showing you where I'm trying to make contact. And then once I've made that contact, then my elbow is going to start bringing my back up afterwards. Right? So that's where I'm making contact, and then the elbow is lifting up afterwards. One more time with the backspin there. Yeah, right on the edge of the bat there. And whether the ball's curling on the table or on the floor, that sharp turn is good indication that I've got the backspin that I'm after. Now to try and make the topspin fairly similar, I don't want to be contacting on the way down, but just slightly later on the way up. Right, so I'm still going to start here, I'm still going to strike down, but the contact is just going to be on that upward portion. Yeah, so now the ball's travelling much more towards the ball. Okay, so there's a subtle difference between catching it at the bottom and catching it on the way up. Again, hopefully, from a technical point of view, when my opponent's facing me, they're seeing a similar action for backspin as to the topspin. And I'm getting a decent enough separation there for the two spins. Okay? It's not a ton of difference, but it's enough that if they come in and push that topspin ball, it's going to pop up and I've got a chance. Okay? So that's how it's kind of built into the technique a bit with this dissection. I'm not having to do too much with my action afterwards. Yeah. Contacting down the bottom for the backspin, and then that lift up. Slightly later. If you're struggling with the timings, you can separate them like I did there. So backspin, I might just stop on the way down, just make sure I'm getting that contact. If you're struggling with the topspin, you might start nice and low, and then just think about practicing this pull up, just so you're getting a feel for the topspin and how you're creating it, where it needs to bounce. So if you feel you need to separate the technique up a little bit, you can. Alright?
Are you looking to try and get that come off the side or come half long?
I think in an ideal world, on that second bounce, depending on the spin that we're going for, somewhere along the side of the table would be good. If we can get that bounce somewhere around there, where that hesitation is, even if it's dropping off here, there's not an awful lot they can do with that because the table's in the way. If it goes too far, then they've got that swing. But somewhere around here is a useful place to get it. Yeah. But topspin's obviously going to go probably a little bit deeper here, and the backspin might end up holding a little bit short. All right. Any questions on that one? We've all gone a bit quiet now. Okay. So with this one, we're going to serve it into the forehand half. It may well be into the backhand of the left hand. That's absolutely fine. If you think it's backspin, you're going to push it back. If you think it's topspin, you're going to flick it back, and then we're going to play point out as well. But paying attention to how they're returning it, because that's what they see. They see the confirmation that we've got good deceptive serve, or it's confirmation that they've seen what we're up to. Yeah, and then we might need to apply some little changes. We'll do 5 serves each with this one. 5 serves each and then change over. But yeah, keep those returns in. Backspin, we push it, topspin,